Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna.
Hare
Welcome to today's Sunday feast class at ISKCON Blantyre. I want to thank you all for inviting me here to share some words from this glorious literature, the Bhagavad Gita. So the way we're going to do this is depending on the supreme mercy of the Lord, I feel that the Lord is always present within us. And so what I thought we'd do is I'll ask 3 of you people to choose so the first person, the first person, yourself, choose a number between 1 and 8. Choose a number. Yeah, yourself. Just choose a number between 1 and 8. Choose.
What? 1 to 8.
1.
1.
1. Yes, at the back.
4.
1, 4, and one number between 1 and 9. Okay, so that's page 145. Okay, let's see what the Lord has in store for us today. Okay, so we're reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 57. So how do we do this? Do I just read the Sanskrit? And then read it? Or?
Yeah, we don't have reference maybe to follow.
Okay.
Sometimes we follow once if you what you like.
Sure. So fine, I'll just read through the Sanskrit. Yasarvatna vinehas tad praya subhasubham nabhinandati nateshti tasya pragya pratishtita. And then we'll just read the translation. One who sarvatra, everywhere, abhanivesha, without affection, tat, that, prapya, achieving, subha, good, asubham, evil, na, never, abhinandati, praises, na, never, dreti, envies, tasya, his, pragya, perfect knowledge, pratishtita, fixed. Translation by His Divine Grace Prabhupada. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. You can repeat after me. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Perfect. There is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one is in the material world, there is always the possibility of good and evil, because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil, because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position called technically samadhi. So we'll just chant some prayers for blessings. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulundritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Yogistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabdantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Paramami Haripriye Vanchakalpatrubhascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Okay, so welcome, Hare Krishna. So I'll just repeat the verse again. So reading from chapter 2, text number 57. I'll just repeat the translation. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada starts the purport by saying, there's always some upheaval in the material world. There's always some upheaval in the material world which may be either good or evil. And just for the past, I think it's been about a month or so, right? The war in Iran has been going on. So you can see that there's always something or the other always happening in this material world. Things are always changing. And we see that in our own lives as well. That there's always going to be some pleasure, some good, but also there'll be some suffering that comes from time to time. That's the way Krishna arranges our karma. He gives it in different doses. He doesn't give us all happiness in one go. He mixes it with some unhappiness as well. Because we have both accounts. We've got a good account and a bad account. And we have to go through both good and the bad according to our past activities. So the aim of Krishna consciousness is actually not to do anything auspicious or inauspicious. Because if we do anything good, we have to take birth again within this material world. Naturally, we don't want to do anything bad because we will suffer from those unfortunate incidents that we need to experience. But actually, the negative things that we need to experience, they're very much life lessons. And as the verse says, that in the material one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So Prabhupada said that this is called samadhi, sthita pragya. And so yesterday we were speaking here to a group of devotees, and we were also explaining that if one takes the path of Krishna consciousness, one should be very clear that just by becoming devotees of Lord Krishna, it's not that all of a sudden unpleasant things may not happen in our lives, bad things won't happen to us. Bad things are going to happen to us whether or not we take to the path of bhakti or not. But what the path of bhakti does is it gives us perception. It allows us to create distance between the event or the circumstance that's happening and our true selves. So that when we experience the good or the evil, we're not affected by it, at least externally. Yes, if we lose a lost loved one or something happens to us, whether financially or relationship breakup or anything like that, naturally we will be affected. But we have firm faith that the Lord has a deeper plan behind this. What is the lesson that I need to learn from this circumstance? Because typically the Lord has a reason why we experience these different obstacles, both good and bad. So if we pray to the Supreme Lord to try and ask Him to tell us, what is it that I need to learn from this? And the tendency is that typically we always approach the Lord when something bad is happening, right? And there's something negative. It's much more, you see people going to church, going to the temple, going to synagogues, going to the mosque, asking, please God, help me with this challenge that I have. I've got this discomfort. I've got this impediment that is within my life. Please assist me. But rarely will you find someone where things are going very peacefully, where people are joyful and still actually approaching the Lord within those circumstances. So it's very difficult within this material world to be grateful for actually the good and the bad, to be equipoised in both circumstances, and to approach the Lord regardless of the external circumstances that are happening to us. I like making this a dialogue as always. I don't like it just being a speaker. I like to make it relevant and practical. Does anyone have any realizations or comments on what we've read or what we've discussed so far? Anybody got any questions, comments? Yes.
From my experiences, we generally have a desire,
Mm.
desires that we want fulfilled in our hearts that are very deep. So we generally don't want any bad,
Yes.
right? And we become very disturbed
Mm.
when bad things happen. And then sometimes we ask, why God, why me? Other people seem to be having something good. So it's nice that you put it in perspective that even though we don't perceive someone's bad or what we perceive that someone's experiencing, but we're all experiencing to some degree good and bad. So when we approach the Lord, we want all good. We want the Lord to give us all good, and that's what our motivation is when we come to God most of the time.
Yeah. The true devotees' desire when they approach the Lord is they say that actually, my dear Lord, I do not know what is good or bad because my perception of the world is very limited. You are Trikalagya. You know past, present, and future. So, dear Lord, whatever it takes for me to surrender more onto you, please do that so I can surrender onto you more and more. They don't ask for anything material of this world. They put aside their own selfish ego and they want to put Krishna in the center and say that, dear Lord, whatever you think is best for my own path of bhakti towards you, please let that happen. Because, yes, when different things happen to us, you know, there's a story, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes we see in this material world that we interact with different personalities. And externally, it may seem that things are going very well. They're very successful, got a nice car, they've got a nice house, they've got a nice spouse, nice children, etc. But beneath the surface, there's so many other things that are happening that we simply aren't unaware of. And if we were to just interact with them and actually just be aware of the conversation that will be happening within their home, we'd very clearly see what's happening. And so no one is bereft of the dualities, unpleasant. That's why this material world is called Dukhalayam Shashvatam. It's a place of misery. This material world is like a hotel. We're here for some time, and then we've got to check out. Most of us are trying to make this material world our permanent home. But actually, we can't. If we notice everything around us, we'll notice, if we are a little bit just patient and just notice things, we'll see that things are constantly changing. Even when you have a house, this building, originally when it was first built, some hard work to put all the walls and everything together. But just through the natural course of time, things start deteriorating. You need to repaint this, the light bulb breaks, this happens, that happens. And that's just the nature. Krishna is indirectly telling us that actually you're trying to make a permanent home in a permanent place. Please don't waste your time. That's not to say that we shouldn't have a home, but don't be too comfortable in it. Don't be too attached to it. Death can come at any time. Who knows? And take it all away. But if we have that firm surrender that, dear Lord, nothing of this world is mine anyways. Actually, everything belongs to you. And if you have that level of consciousness that actually nothing belongs to me, everything belongs to you, then actually death is a very glorious occasion, because one will reconnect himself with the divine couple Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world, which is our eternal home, which we're actually all longing to go to be at. So, anyone got any other comments or questions? Yes.
Many times, or most of the times, when our karma is happening, many people at the end of the day might or may not know what the lesson behind the karma is. Is there any way of knowing? Or do we need to? Is it necessary?
So your question is that when you go through different obstacles, sometimes, your question is whether or not we need to know the lesson behind it. Is it necessary? And I guess it depends upon the obstacle. Certain obstacles we may just need to experience, and then that's the end of it. But certain things are more subtle. Maybe there's a lesson we need to learn that actually, if I act in a harsh way, this is the reaction of acting harshly. And if we don't learn that lesson, we might keep getting that same test again and again and again. Because we haven't graduated, we haven't passed. So I think it really depends upon the obstacle. If it's something that's generally repeated, it generally means that Krishna is trying to tell you something. That, maybe I need to learn to not be so harsh in my speech. There's no need to be so angry. There could be so many other reasons. But if it's a repeated reason, so if it's a repeated test, then I think we need to learn. Because Krishna knows that we haven't quite passed the test. But there is the case as well that Krishna may not give us the full test if he knows that we've already done the homework. If he knows our character has changed, it's more refined, it's in line with what Krishna wants, then there's no need for such harsh reformation. I hope that sheds some light. Do you have any further comments or questions? Is that okay? Okay. Yes, at the back.
So, what is the main perfect knowledge what we want to achieve in Krishna consciousness?
What is the main thing that we want to achieve? Okay. So the Krishna consciousness movement can philosophically be broken down into three main segments, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We call it Sambandha, Avideya, and Prayojan. So referring to the Bhagavad Gita, I think, if my understanding is correct, last week or the week before, Bhattu Prabhu spoke about the 5 different subjects of the Bhagavad Gita. And so Sambandha is all about relationship. It's knowing who are we, what is this material world, who is God, Ishvara, Paramatma, Supreme Ishvara, what is the material world, what is my relationship with other jivas, what is my relationship to the material world, what is my relationship to the Supreme. That's all Sambandha Gyan. That's all the first level of knowledge. First, you need to know what is what. Once you know what is what, then we can move on to the next stage. So first is Sambandha, then is Abhideya. So now that I know that my relationship with this material world is temporary, I'm here just on holiday for a short period of time, but I have an eternal relationship with the divine, with God. Let me try and develop that relationship. So that's what the next stage is, Abhideya, developing that relationship. And then the last stage is Prayojan, which is the ultimate goal. Because if you notice in this material world, let me just quickly search for it. There's a beautiful thing by okay, I can't quite find it, but essentially every expression that we do, every action that we do, it's either a cry for love or an expression of love. Everything that we do in this material world, we're doing it for love, for happiness. And we're all looking for happiness. And if we don't experience that happiness, we might act in that. We might cry. We might throw a tantrum. We might become angry. Why am I becoming angry? Because I'm not getting that love. Right? So that's essentially all what Krishna consciousness is about, is to reawaken that love within us so we can actually become instruments of love and share that love with others. So in simple words, that's all Krishna consciousness is. It's an exchange of love, giving and receiving love. That's the inherent nature of the soul. Satchit Ananda. Ananda is love, always blissful. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Any last questions? Because I believe we finish at 12:30, is it? So we can go on for slightly longer. If there's questions, anyone got any other final question?
Can you just explain it? Good luck, but like you're quoting.
Good Good luck, bad luck, who knows? Yeah, so I think there was a story. I'm happy to be corrected. Or, yeah, if anybody knows the story, I'm happy to be corrected, I should say. So there once was a king. He was in his kingdom, and he was with the minister, and one day, whilst the king was doing something, I think he was sharpening one of his swords, he cut himself. And so the king was asking the minister, why was my finger cut? Why am I bleeding? And the minister was like, good luck, bad luck, who knows? The king was not satisfied by that answer. So what did he do to the minister? He threw him in jail, prison. And then shortly thereafter, the king went hunting in the forest. And whilst hunting the forest, unfortunately, they were attacked by cannibals, like people who eat other humans. And they actually managed to capture the king and the other troops. And they thought they were going to perform like a royal ceremony to sacrifice the king as an offering of worship to the evil spirits. Let's put it like that. And so they captured the king. They were going to offer the king because he was the most royal. They thought this would be a good offering to the evil spirit. And whilst they were doing the offering, the most senior member of the assembly noticed that actually the king had lost a finger. And so the chiefman said that actually we can't offer this particular king as a sacrifice because he's actually not pure, he's not fully whole. And so they released the king, and the king made it back to his kingdom. And noticing or remembering that actually it was the minister who said that good luck, bad luck, who knows. So he was grateful that actually, the fact that he actually got cut had a deeper reason and a deeper meaning behind it, that his life was saved. So then he released the minister and he was grateful to the minister. But then the king started to think, actually, good luck, bad luck, who knows? Sure, I cut my finger and, I was saved, but you got put into prison. But what can you say about that? He's like, dear sir, if I wasn't put in prison, I would have accompanied you. And if I had accompanied you into the forest, most likely I would have been sacrificed instead of you. So my life also got saved. So like that, good luck, bad luck, who knows? So that's the thing, right? Within this material world, we lack perception. We lack understanding of what's actually happening to us. Why is it happening to us? We generally lack sambandha gyan. We're not sure what we're doing, how we're going. But actually through the process of bhakti yoga, through the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavad, and actually through my own experience, I can see that just by noticing, understanding the three modes of material nature, just by looking at someone, you can actually predict their life for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years. It's very easy. If you want to predict your life, You just need to understand the modes of material nature. Based on the mode that you're living in, that's very likely what's going to happen to you in the next 5, 10, 20 years. Very, very honestly. It's not rocket science. The Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam are blueprint for life. You can predict with over, just like there's a relationship expert. They are called the Gottman's Institute in America. And what they did is they did a study and they were able to predict with over 90% accuracy whether or not a relationship was going to fail or not. Very simple. Based on just the interaction between the husband and the wife, just by monitoring the tone, the way they spoke, right? Just these very simple things, you could predict with over 90% accuracy whether or not they were going to divorce or not. And what are they doing? They again simply just look at the 3 modes of material nature indirectly. They don't say it's the 3 modes, but they're just looking at the way you communicate. When you communicate, do you speak in a pleasing way? Do you speak in a beneficial way? Or do you get angry? Do you want to be controlling? Are you putting yourself in the center? How selfless are you in your relationship? And by actually just noticing these small little things, you can pretty much predict what's going to happen. And I've seen it myself as well. Just seeing different couples, different people getting together, the reasons, etc. And I remember my mentor telling me of this other couple, and unfortunately they got divorced because the reason why they were getting together was for something very superficial. They didn't have a deeper purpose behind it. So they weren't quite following the knowledge that's available to them. So this is the power of Bhagavad Gita, the power of the Bhagavatam. It gives a whole blueprint of life. If you want to map out the way your life is going to look, just study the Bhagavatam. And I've seen that in my own life, that by rising ourselves from the modes of material nature, we can say the shades of ego. The more you move yourself from tamas, passion, goodness, and lastly Siddheshvara, the less the modes affect you, and the less you are concerned about being the controller, being the enjoyer, being the proprietor. I think yesterday we were speaking about our God project. So in this material world, we all have our own God project. What do I mean by God project? We're all trying to control our own little atmosphere, our own little business, our own little family, our own little this or that. We're all trying to control it in different ways. But if you observe yourself, or if you observe the way you're trying to control it, sometimes it'll go your way, but many times it won't go your way. Can't control the weather, can't control your business, can't control the other person you're living with. So Krishna is actually indirectly telling you that actually, my dear sir, my dear friend, you're not Ishvara, you're not God. You're actually God in one way, but God with a small g. God with the big G is the absolute truth. He is ultimately in control. So that's why if we just realign our desires to that of the Supreme, that is actually what is going to be beautiful. And that's actually the story of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna did not want to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. He was thinking that better I become a mendicant. Better I don't want to fight my relatives, my uncles, all my family members. I'd rather just become a renunciate, not fight. That way I'll be happy. But Krishna said, actually, Arjun, this is not your nature, this is not your job. Your occupation is a warrior, so you need to do your duty. If you have children, you need to look after your children. If you have a business, you need to look after your business. Whatever you're doing, try and align that desire with the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is not saying you need to give up everything. There's no problem of becoming rich. There's no problem of becoming beautiful, strong, etc. These are all just Krishna's opulences. As long as you know it doesn't belong to you, i.e. Krishna is in the center and not yourself, then there's no problem. The problem comes as soon as we put our own ego in the center. And that's what Arjun did. He put himself in the center. I don't want to do it because of this, this, and this. But by the end of the Bhagavad Gita, he was able to realign his own desire with that of the Supreme. And and so we see Arjun actually became victorious. He actually became the winner in the whole battle of life. Anyone got any final comments, questions? Otherwise, we'll break for Kirtan. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.